Welcome once again to Interfaith New Thought Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we believe that nothing happens by chance, that everything is by divine appointment. We heard the call, we answered that call this morning, and if you're tuning in at this moment, this message is for you, because nothing happens by chance. I love our topic today. It's uniting the mind with the heart. We're going to make the longest journey on the planet, the 18-inch journey from the head to the heart. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man, woman hear my voice, let them answer, and I will come into them and sup with them, and they with me. In other words, I will commune. Holy communion is when we feel that oneness of the cosmos. In fact, Einstein called for a new religion. He called for a cosmic religion, where all were equal. And he said that all the great ones and those that appear to be foolish are all the same to God. And he said he wanted to know, thinking of a cosmic religion, that God is in the details. And I love that. God is in the details. And these details are interactions on a human level, where our humanness gives way to the divine, and the Christ consciousness arises triumphant and victorious, because it is done unto us as we believe in our hearts. For where our heart is, there our treasure will be also. The heart is the doorway to the soul. So when we make that longest journey on the planet, from the head to the heart, and stop intellectualizing our lives, and begin to feel the energy of spirit that lives and moves and has its being at the center of our one life, which is God's life, right here and right now. We are co-creators with that power and that presence. It's not only a mechanical force of cause and effect, it's a loving presence that sits down beside you and holds your hand and is there for each and every one of us through each other, because you are as close to God as I'm ever going to get. And I am as close to God as you are ever going to get. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there truly is only one of us. So when we really understand this, and really begin to embody this way of life, all the little petty stuff, the little grudges that we hold on to, all the stuff about relationships and all the things we could have bought and we'd be millionaires by now. We all can do that. Don't shit on yourself, remember? Just acknowledge that there's a power and a presence going before us and preparing the way. As we become a lamp unto our own feet, that means drawing all good unto us. All the light and the energy and the life and the substance that life has to offer each and every one of us. I remember once hearing a fundamentalist minister, and he talked about when he was in World War II, and that he said they were fighting the Germans. And he said there were so few of us, and we had a choice. That choice was, we could fight to the death, or we could surrender. And he said, I had 2 young sons back in Arkansas, and I voted to surrender. So we all surrendered. And they put us in cattle cars, and we went for a very long time, and nobody could move. I mean, there was no oxygen to really speak of. It was just very close. Everyone was standing, and there was nothing to eat, and there was no privacy. Finally, they arrived at their destination. They were ordered off the cattle car, and they looked and saw, oh, we're going into a concentration camp. And he said that they were there for not just weeks, but months, but a year passed. And then one German guard came in and said, who would like to work on a farm? We need 25 workers. And he said he raised his hand immediately because he was raised on a farm. He knew how to plant. And it would get him out of that atmosphere of the concentration camp. And so he said they went on this potato farm, and from dawn to dusk, they were digging up potatoes, and he said the very hard German soil. And one night he was really missing his wife and his 2 sons. And he had a little photograph of his 2 sons, and it was a moonlit night. And he took out the photograph, and there was his little sons smiling. He says, "This is my way home." And as he was in this moment, a German guard came in and said, "What do you have there? What do you have there?" And he just lifted up the photograph and he said, "My 2 sons." And with that, the German looked warily behind him, reached in his back pocket, took out a photograph and said, "Mine 2 sons." And they looked to be the same age. And the German guard said, "No one will win this war. No one will win this war." And then he put out his hand to shake. His name is Orville, to shake his hand. And they shook. And the German guard said, "Friends?" And he shook and said, "Friends." That regardless of war, regardless of us and them, they met at the heart level. My 2 sons. And had this amazing exchange. And he said a few months later, 1945, the same guard came in and said, "The war is over. The war is over." And everyone cheered. The war is over. They would be rescued. And the German guard came, extended his hand to Orville. And they shook. And he said, "Friends?" And he said, "Friends." And he said, "Maybe one day our sons will meet as friends." So beyond war, beyond all of that energy of upset, beyond it all, the heart will have its way and melts anything unlike itself. Because I think we all want the same thing. We want to live our lives in freedom. We want to have a shared experience of friends, of family, of energy. But we must make the longest journey on the planet, the 18-inch journey from the head to the heart. The Course in Miracles says, would you rather be right or happy? And of course, when we extend kindness, we are always right. That it's not about being right or happy. It's about extending ourselves in such a way that people get us. They get who we are. Because as Emerson said, who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. There is an energy that flows from you. There is a frequency that we vibrate to. And so we connect at that level, at that heart level, realizing heart is the spirit. And in San Francisco, there is an institute called HeartMath, where they have little electrodes, and in fact, there's a director, Tom Shadyac, who directed Ace Ventura and a lot of amazing things that he did in his life. And he said, you know, suddenly I was wealthy. So I bought this 10,000 square foot house in Pasadena. And I still had like all this money, so I bought a house in upstate New York. And then I went and bought a place in Valley. And he said, in new cars. And he said there was still something missing. And then one day, I was riding my bicycle through a canyon, and I hit a bump, and it flew me off. And I woke up in the hospital. And he said I had a kind of concussion that is very difficult to heal. You're disoriented, you're not at yourself. He said, I went through this for months, people can die from it. And he said that one day he had someone take him in the wheelchair out to see the ocean. And in that instant of looking at the ocean and the energy of nature and the opportunity to breathe in the sea air, something clicked. He said, I got up from that wheelchair and I changed my life. I sold everything. I moved into a mobile home in Malibu. He said, I simplified my life. I didn't want to be part of the problem of conspicuous consumerism. I wanted to be part of the solution. And he's created this amazing documentary called I Am, and began interviewing all of the notables on the planet that are making a difference, that see that we can move forward with allowing ourselves to feel that connection and not usurping all the resources on the planet, that life truly is a shared creation. And when we have these realizations, and he went to a place, he went to HeartMath in San Francisco, Tom Shadyac, and he had, they give you a word, and you're calibrated, your emotions are calibrated. So he goes, well, what words are going to trigger you? And he goes, my attorney? It went way up. My ex-wife, way up. And so what you do is you meditate until you get the calibrations at a place of acceptance. That we call in all these experiences so that we can grow and unfold. And that the golden elixir of kindness that we offer one another. One gal on Facebook is going through cancer, and she is just had a terrible time of being on anti-inflammatories and all of these steroids and all of the chemo that she went through, and she chose to go to Mexico to relax and to be in the sun. She lived, in a place where it's snowing. And she said, some people on Facebook said, oh, if you're so sick, why are you having a vacation in Mexico? I mean, come on. And so there she was justifying herself on Facebook because she needed to go somewhere where it was sunny and she could be in a healing vibration and have people assist her. And she said, I don't know why I am justifying myself. And she just talked about all the things that she'd been through, which were a lot. And she had a beautiful caption. And you saw a roller coaster. And the caption was, we can go into a crisis every time we hit a bump in the road, because life is a roller coaster. Or we can throw up our hands and enjoy the ride. And that's what I'm doing. I'm throwing up my hands, and I'm enjoying the ride, rather allowing every little bump on the road to turn me and send me into a crisis. So in the ancient Chinese didn't have a word really for crises. And so they created this amazing character. And it's a danger and opportunity. So to transform the crises into an opportunity, and to open our hearts to what's happening and have self-compassion as well. Because as the Dalai Lama said, unless we have self-compassion, we're not really going to extend it to anybody else. But when we have self-compassion, and we're compassionate to the human condition, it includes everyone. No one is left out. Everyone comes to the altar of life, laying down what no longer serves us so that we can arise triumphant and victorious as our humanness gives way to the divine. And some people say, well, I'm just me, what can I do? I'm just little old me. How can I heal the world's ills, or what can I do for world peace? We can heal ourselves. And when we heal ourselves, we create critical mass, and we can also extend in the circle of life our kindness. I love Aesop and his fables. And there's a story about the lion and the mouse. And a little mouse was scurrying through the jungle and accidentally went over the great king of the jungle, the great lion's nose, and awoke him, and he grabbed the little mouse. And the little mouse pleaded for her life and said, "Oh, please, great lion, release me, and someday I will serve you." And the lion was really amused by this. How's this little mouse going to ever serve me? But let the little mouse go. A few months later, there was a great mournful roar in the jungle. And what had happened is that the lion was caught in the hunter's nets and couldn't release itself and roared through the jungle, a mournful, mournful roaring. And the little mouse heard it and went to see what was going on and saw the lion that had released her. So she crawled up and began gnawing away at all the netting. And she gnawed and gnawed and gnawed. And finally, the lion was released. The lion, the king of the jungle, was a little embarrassed and said, "You told me someday you would serve me. I thought, what can a little creature like you do for me? But you saved my life. So one kindness deserves another," is the moral of the story. So today, when we make our longest journey on the planet, the 18-inch journey from the head to the heart, and we open our hearts, and especially to those that are maybe acting out in a certain way and we don't relate to it, maybe they're striking out at us. Believe me, I'm in public life. I've experienced it all. So he drew a circle that shut me out, but love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. Will they be our best friend and bosom buddy? Probably not, because we're not vibrating at the same frequency. But we can still see through what's being expressed and wish them well on their path. And as Jesus said, "Brush the dust from off thy feet and go thy way in peace." And when we go our way in peace, we have the compassion of the Buddha, the compassionate one that sees the human condition and all sentient beings with the opportunity to arise through their experience and reach nirvana. And remember, nirvana is the highest state of heaven that we can attain to this lifetime. And to be in nirvana is to live from that place of heavenly wisdom and see through it all and to realize, ah, yes, I extend my hand to you, and maybe someday our sons will be friends. The war is over, and so it is. And with that, on this glorious morning, we're all going somewhere, because we are in a high place, and we will not come down. We are going where? Higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Because none of these outer things move me. I am in a high place, and I will not come down. And so it is. And I say to you, namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you, and the God in you salutes the God in me. And shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us every